first session of this GAN course on security and threats of generative AI in biometric. So, as we told you that we will take you from the beginning. So, we will cover all the basics because there are students who are joining, and gradually we will take you towards the advanced system. So, in this, I am taking you to the introduction of biometric systems. So, basic uh, of the biometrics we are going to cover. So here, this is the organization of my talk. So I will tell you about, I will introduce biometric and will let you know the biometric system architecture, because in the third session today, you need to implement that architecture. So, and then some common modalities, what are the challenges with the biometric systems, and then the multimodal biometric systems. So now we all know that every one of us want to be secure, right? We want everything related with us should be secure, whether it is our computer system, or it is our home, or it is our country, or it is our accounts. We want everything to be secure, right? But the thing is that, so we want some method to keep this security alive. But unfortunately, it is very difficult to keep everything secure. But if I tell you that in the market, we are having these most advanced security solutions, which are biometric based solutions. So here you can see that the reliable solution here these days is like whatever areas we talked about, like border control, forensic, surveillance, identification. So biometrics are there for, and so this they offer us security as well as convenience as compared to the traditional methods of recognition. So if we talk about the authentication, there are three ways which we come up developed over the period of time. The first one was token based system, so something which you have, and then we have, so you can say that some ID card, some identity, like some of you are carrying your I card there. So token based systems, and then we are having knowledge based systems like password, pin, with which we are using in our mail and mobile. And then finally the highest level, so you can say that there are three levels of security: token based, knowledge based, and the highest level is biometric based, where we say that we don't need anything but what we are. So you can say that you are yourself that thing which you are going to use for authentication. Now, what is biometric? So what is biometric? As you can see, this word is coming up as a two uh, combination of two words. One is bio, that is life, and another thing is matrix, right? How we are going to measure it. So as you can see that so many traits are there which we can use for measuring. So we will discuss how it all actually started, and then we will explore. I mean, I don't know what do you know and what do you do not know. So we'll try to explore it together. The nitty gritty of the biometric. So here you can see there is a case, Bill and William West case. This is how the biometric started. Before this, there was a particular system where they're using the body measures, like let us say the ratio of the upper half and the lower half, these type of things. So basically the measurements was used, but this case came in 1933 in US in some prison, where what was happening that the two people, Bill, William and this, you can say William West and William West. So Bill West and William West, they were the two people, and they, as you can see, that they were looking perfectly alike. So it was like initially their picture was taken, body measurements were taken, but unfortunately, it was not possible to, like, both of them were denying. Okay, so then the fingerprint came into the picture, and as you can see that their fingerprint were different. So that is how this biometric came into the picture. So the requirement. So those who are working in the field of authentication, they might be aware of it. Now, biometric, if we talk about what is biometric in the formal words, so we can say that the automated use of our physiological as well as behavioral characteristics to verify, right, identity. So, what when we say that the measurement, what we are saying, the physiological and behavioral characteristic. So basically, we are having both type of measurements. In physiological measurements, we have our fingerprints, our palm print, our iris scan, our face scan, and among behavioral, like how do we sign, then our voice scan, like everyone is having a peculiar style. So after a couple of lectures, you will also come to know that how madam used to speak, right? What are the, so everyone is having its own. So keystroke scans, that is all. So then, yes, they are not identical. They are different. Yeah, we'll come. Just have wait and we'll take up questions. They are different. So here when we say that biometrics are in two categories. One is physiological and another is behavioral, right? So face, fingerprint, hand, iris, your DNA. Then in behavioral, as I told you, keystroke, signature, and voice. So here physical technologies, they are considered to be more reliable because many times we are signing and like no matter how many years I'm doing my signatures, there might be some difference. So physiological technologies, they are better, more secure. Apart from these, there are others also like ear. So Professor Falguni Gupta from IIT Kanpur, he's in India. He is a well-known name. He started a lot of work in biometric. So he's a student, Dr. Surya Prakash. He's at IIT Indore now. So he worked on the ear biometric. So many. I mean, you can say things are there. Then gait biometric is there. Lip motion also have worked upon. So these are all different characteristics. Now the thing comes that why we need biometric system basically. So you can see that first of all we want to identify the rightful owner because password can be leaked, right? This info, your iCard can be stolen, but biometric it cannot be stolen. And what is there? It was observed that the stolen password, see, stolen password played a key role around 48% of data breach. And we know all that. What is the most important resource today? If I ask you what is the most important resource, no matter how the gold and silver is going on, because today I took a paper, although I could not read, but on the front page it was there that silver is all time high, right? So no matter it is how high it is, but still the most valuable resource in today's era is data, right? So at any cost, we don't want to lose data. So data is something we have to secure. So with the biometric, one more thing is that cannot be transferred. Of course, you can't give your fingerprint to someone. It cannot be forgotten. It is very difficult to copy or forge. Although attacks there, we'll discuss these days after AI. Like earlier also attacks were there, and now more possibility is there. So we will discuss the possibility of attacks. But yes, still it is difficult to copy or forge. Now, and the thing is that you can be identified at a distance. If you talk about the facial biometric, you don't know even you are going like you might be sitting at the railway station, you might be at the surveillance. Maybe some news were there, and so everyone is being monitored on the station, or you go to airport. So I mean, you can these things can be done at a distance also. It is not like every time you have to participate and give your biometric. So these are the various biometric which we showed. Now everything is driven by the market because I'm having so many youth sitting here. So in the class also we know that unless and until we relate it, why? So that is what I told you. And if you talk about revenue, you can see that global market revenue is expected to reach $15.1 billion by 2020. So you can see that it is how the growth is happening. So obviously in a field some growth is there. So we should know like what is it. And not only this, you can say biometric market. When we talk about biometric market, then this compound annual growth, right? What is this? It is expected. We are in 2025, and it is expected that the growth rate will be 27, more than 27% from 25 to 30. So right now it is expected. You can see 24, 20, more than 28 billion, and with the growth rate of more than 27%. So it is a lot of things are going on in the field. Now, so what are the necessary biometric attributes? So, which why we are giving this, right? Why we are saying okay, face is one of the biometric, palm print is one of the biometric, gait is one of the biometric. So why so? Basically, any characteristic, any biometric trait you possess that can be used for authentication, provided it is having these six characteristics. What are these six characteristics? First thing is universal, right? So every person should have it. It is not like that, okay, if some people can participate and many not participate, then no point in using it for authentication. So the first requirement is that everyone is having that trait. Then we can choose it further. Then uniqueness, right? Right. So we want like he's giving right, asking the question why they are unique, right? So we are working on, I will tell you. So, like whatever trait we are choosing, it must be unique. And what is expected that even if there are these are the two twins, it should not be same, and it is there. Then permanence, it should be invariant over time. But none of the here you can see that face pivot. Not many changes, right? We do not realize it because we are looking at our face really in the mirror. But your friend or I mean your relatives, they may tell you like how you are changing. So we want permanence. That is, it should be invariant over the time. But many times, like okay, I will come on that. Then collectability means that we should be able to capture that pivot, right? Somehow, and acceptability, that is the most important, because unless and until the people are accepting it, there is no point in using a system or giving a system. So people should not be hesitant about it. They should be readily happy to use it. And then circumvention, that means it should be hard to speak, right? So these are the six traits which are having. But what is the irony here, that among these there is unfortunately there is no biometric trait which is satisfying all six characteristics, right? So you can see the face, how it is changing. Even if you take case of fingerprint, those who are workers doing lot of work, then it is not possible. So recently, uh, like we have our chief guest of the convocation. He was talking to me and telling that, okay, my fingerprints are not recognized by. Sorry. So, so if we can say that, as I told you, no biometric trait is satisfying all the attributes. And so what happens? Then we, we are, but as I told you in the beginning, multimodal systems. So we can achieve, the shortcoming of one, I don't know, just don't know, something has struck up actually. What we want to do, what is multimodal biometric, that I will tell you later. But the shortcoming of one trait may be overcome by the other. So multiple modalities we can use. Now, so the question comes that, what do I need so that this whole thing may work? So, first of all, we need a sensor. We need capture biometric, right? So first thing is the capturing device, or you can say biometric reader. For example, fingerprint reader, many of you have seen at your organization, they are being used. Then we have video camera. After that, we need algorithms, right? Why? Because we need to extract the unique features. We're saying, so everyone is having some unique features, right? So the unique features are supposed to be captured, because those unique, based on those unique features, only the matching of biometric will be performed, whether this is your biometric or my biometric. And then repository. We need to store like the biometric template for later comparison. So in the biometric system, there are two stages. One is the enrollment stage, and there is the authentication, when you are going for verification or authentication. So at the time of your enrollment, your biometric information, I will come on template later on, your biometric information is stored in a database. Okay. So we will be using this information. And this, remember, one most important thing, as I told you about data, this repository must be protected, must be the secure, because if you are losing biometric, it can't be recovered, right? So as I told you, there are two subsystems. One is enrollment, another is authentication. So in the enrollment, this is the process of registration, right? Like you register for this course. Similarly, you will register for this biometric database, right? Register in biometric database. And then your information may be used by two ways, right? Maybe it may be positive authentication enrollment, it may be negative enrollment. So positive enrollment is there for verification as well as positive identification. And this negative enrollment for negative identification. So one thing is that we are looking for whether you belong to, you are one from that database or you are not one from that database, right? So that is there. And finally, we are going to use this for authentication purpose, identification as well as verification. Now, identification and verification, these are two different things. And see here, verification is much easy problem because here what is happening? There is one-to-one matching. Now, one-to matching means that, for example, you are using your fingerprint to get access into this building. So you are coming and saying, okay, this is my, I'm so and so. So when you are saying I am so and so, your biometric, which is stored in the database, will be matched against your biometric, which you are giving at that very time, right? So that is how it is a one-to-one match. But when it is a, let us say you came to know, okay, some activity is going to happen at the airport or at the railway station, now don't know who is there, right? So whenever any suspect is there, or that is how the agencies work. Whenever they feel that, okay, someone is suspect, they match it against the database. So FPI, you must have heard, like big fingerprint databases and all other databases are there. So they are searching whether this person belongs to this, is from this database, it is existing or not, right? So here, what is happening again? So let us say your face is being captured, and based on your face information, the database is searched whether this face is present in the database or not. So that is what you are, you can, the crowd may be stand with the camera, and then facial recognition technology can be used to, can be used for matching, okay, whether he's a good or bad. Now, verification, as I told you, it is a one-to-one matching. So I go somewhere and I say I'm PP. So now here, let's say the database, my template, my face template is stored, and here I am giving my face template through my biometric reader, and this matcher is going to the match. And if it is a match, they say, okay, you are allowed. Yes, you are. Now, but here it is in the authentication. We don't know. Okay, so the face is being captured. Now there are n number of faces stored here, right? And we are, this match is going to find out, yes, who is this? So here we don't know who is this, right? So here we don't know who is this. And after matching your biometric, this matcher, if it is a match, then we say that so your template is going to be matched. Your face is going to be matched. Let us say there are 1,000 people stored. The data of 1,000 people is stored in this database. So your face will be matched with all those 1,000 faces. And if a match is found, then you will be given that. Right? So here, as I told you, this is we can perform matching in this positive identification, or you can say negative identification. So positive, whether the subject is in the database; negative, whether the subject is not in the database. Now, how do we measure it? We are going to measure it on these parameters. So when we go for the positive identification, it is false except. Now let us say I'm saying I'm Seema, but I'm not Seema. So if the system is granting me access, I'm an intruder. So that is, we say that false except means I'm not a genuine user, but the matcher is allowing me, because matcher is just an algorithm. So if I just showed you a picture of those William people, right? Two individuals, because their face is matching. If one goes, he may get access for the other one, right? So that is a false except. Then we say, but here not only false except is important, false reject is important. Suppose I am a genuine user, right? And if I'm being denied each and every, like let us say out of 10 attempts, I'm being denied 5 times. So how I am going to feel? Or if you are being denied for out of 10, let us say 5, or even once you are denied, you will feel irritated, right? What is going on? So here we need to take care of two things. We should not allow anyone who is not meant for this, and we should not stop anyone who's meant for this, right? So, and if we go for the negative identification, then my errors are false negative, similar way, false negative and false positive. So someone is not there and you are saying he is there, or that, or someone is there and you are saying he is not there, right? So these we will talk about these evaluation in the next talk tomorrow morning. This how to manage, how to measure the biometric performance. Now, so what is the biometric authentication system? Because this system you are going to implement in the lab session today, or basically the demonstration session today. So this is nothing but a pattern recognition system, right? Because you know that here the two templates, right? My face is matched against my face is stored in the database, right? So it is a matching algorithm, and so here, but this implement the system, we need like sensors, as I told you. Now, algorithm, that feature extractor should be there, feature matcher should be there. So this is my whole system. Now let us understand this. Now here you can see the user comes, right? Now there is a sensor. So through sensor, it is giving his data, and then there is a quality estimation. Sometimes you must have experienced, maybe some of you, that they say that okay, fingerprint not read. So maybe because you are not placing it properly, or there might be dust at the reader, whatever may be the reason. So here you can see. So quality estimation, if the quality is poor, the user is asked again to give the sample. Right? Now let us say the quality is okay and the sample is acquired, and then we do some sort of enhancement. Like for example, if you take this fingerprint, so when we take images of the fingerprint, if you have not put it properly, then there will be broken lines, right? So first of all, we want to fill those lines, those gaps, and but we don't want those gaps to those lines to be very thick. Then we are reducing the number of pixels over there, so so that we can extract the important features, the important points, right? So many things are to be done. Similarly, if the voice is there, then the gaps are there to be removed. Or you can see there are some frequencies which we cannot listen, so those frequencies are to be removed. Or sometime your data is noisy, so then the noise has to be removed. So we need enhancement, or in some image processing we call it pre-processing, right? So that the image may be fit for the next task. So after enhancement, here we are having feature extractor. Now feature extractor is very, because ultimately based on these features only, the biometric matching is going to be performed. So if your feature extractor fails to extract the unique features in your biometric, it is of obviously your system will not perform well, right? So we need a good feature extractor. And now here you can see that this is the enrollment. So once you come and then you get yourself enrolled. So here you can see that this is your database. We call it template database, because what happens? The image itself is not being stored, right? From the image, based on these feature extractor, right? Whatever features are there, those features are going to be stored, right? So we call it template. Now, another important thing is there. Okay, I will come on this later. So, so your template is being stored in the template database, and otherwise, if you are going for authentication purpose, you are already enrolled in the system. So your template will be given from here. So this is a query, right? You are coming and giving your biometric. This is a query, and because here you are going to tell, okay, I'm Seema, I'm Preeti, I'm so and so. So from the template database, the template will be given, and here there is a match. So this is the template given at the runtime. This is the template stored in the database, and your matcher is going to establish whether it is a true identity or not. Right? So here, the thing is that it is going to generate a match. Unfortunately, what is there with the biometric system? We are talking about unique, right? No matter how many times you are giving your biometric, it is never 100% safe. Right? There are many reasons how you are placing, what is the orientation, sensor is there, like don't know how much pressure has to be put. And you have noticed that is, I mean, you are having laptops or mobiles. So the biometric is there. So you are asked to give biometric by different angle. Why? Because it is not sure at the runtime, you will put it in what angle. So that is why you are giving a different angle. So what happens when you go for the enrollment, then not just one template is being created, right? You will ask when you are placing your thumb multiple angles, right? All those templates are being there, right? So your template which is being stored over there, that is the amalgam of all those, right? Whatever direction you are placing, whatever features are extracted, all those features are there in your stored template, right? And then when you are giving your template, right? Then the matching is being performed, and this matching will generate just some score. Okay, how it is matching 80%, it is matching 90%, it is matching 95%, it is matching 98%. Now it is up to you, right? And this has to be done depending upon the application which you consider as a match, right? So, so here you can see that there is always a matching threshold. So if you are setting threshold as 95, so more than 95%, it is a match. Less than 95, so let us say equal to or more than 95, it is a match. Less than 95, it is a non-match. Now you can also set security this threshold as a 70%. So let us say some important repository is there, right? There you want to be highly secure. You are saying, okay, 98%. But here, let us say attendance. Okay, 70% match is there, done, right? Because we are not using this for that. Based on that, you can decide this matching. Sure. Depending on the application, how much security is required over there. Good. And finally, there is a decision module which gives you the decision that whether you are allowed access or not. Now, here you can see that in this online system, there is some exception is also. Why? Because let us say I'm coming and my biometric is not matching. I'm a genuine user. I should not be declined access. So there is always exception and is there so that it can be taken there because might be having bad day or some cut is there. I'm not able to give my fingerprint, right? So here, that is what is there. So this is the whole system. So is it okay? Now, what is a template? So what we stored, as I told you, we have used a word template. That when you are registering yourself, basically feature extractor, the templates are being stored in the database. So what is a template? As I told you, let us say your picture is 512 cross 512, right? So these many pixels are there. This is an image. So these pixels are there. You can see that this pixel is having green color, this pixel is having blue color, this pixel is having black color, like that. So every pixel is having an intensity. But what happens here? We are not storing data of all this 512 cross 500 pixel intensity. We are not storing, right? We need to store those features which are unique, those points which are unique. So here you can see that in case of fingerprints, this is the set of minutiae. So here this is the, you can see the location and this is the angle, right? So here you can see that those points, those are being identified. So those minutiae points are to be stored and these points are going to be matched against the template which you are going to give at the runtime. Now here you can see this is your iris code, this is your face. So basically these feature extractor, they are some, so if you have gone through machine learning course, you know that feature extractors, they are there to extract the important information over there. And so some numbers basically, right? So, and the vector of that number, that is your template. So template is what? A complete representation of your sensed biometric data and which is having this discriminatory information that is essential for recognizing any person, right? Now remember, what is the, so just what I'm telling you, based on that, you will come at the end, we need to summarize what are the problems over there. Now here you can see that there is no common template, even if you are going for in any of the biometric, and therefore the interoperability is difficult. Right? So vendor is storing in its way, other vendor is storing in its way. So if you look at the machine learning literature, it is full of features, right? So the people have given features so that every time the new features, so that the performance may be. Now, so here you can see that, as I told you, because the two credentials can never be the same, therefore we have this pattern recognition. How much the two patterns are matching, right? It is never 100%, right? Not that way. So, okay, why? Because I already told you distortion, noise, or whatever. Now here you can see that this is a fingerprint, right? So these are the points, minutiae points, right? And so this is let us say they are being stored in the database, these points, and these are the points when you are coming for authentication, right? So this is your query template, this is your stored, right? And query template and stored template will never be 100%, right? So matching, actually is going to determine the similarity, and similarity decision will be based on the threshold. So how much threshold you are. Now this is so after this, let us see, this is the evolution of the biometric, although we say it is quite late, but not late. Now you are aware of what is biometric basically, so you can better appreciate it. So here you can see that 19th century fingerprint came, which I told you. So before that, you can see here the Butler system was there. Body measurements were used in law enforcement. And then the fingerprint. Chinese, they go for footprints and palm. And later on, here it came this Francis Galton. It's a given credit, right? So he actually proved that the fingerprints are unique. And after that, the Edward Henry, this happened in India only. So Edward Henry developed this fingerprint classification, which is being adopted by this FDA. Then 20th century, we came, digital biometric came. So through computers, we are going to do the matching over there. So face, finger, hand, iris, all these voice, all these things. And then now, 21st century, there is a revolution, AI and deep learning. So here, you can see that AI powered, right? So here, powered systems are there, and not much things are supposed to be stabilized. Like now, the regulations are coming. Europe, US, like they are coming up with their policies, because how to maintain, how to ensure ethical things and privacy concerns. So if you have seen the schedule, we have also covered. We'll also cover it towards end of the course. So this is the whole scenario. And now, so what is when we talk about it, is a very challenging. So you must be feeling that face is the most simple, right? Most simple for face biometric. But if you see this face biometric, then also you will find so many challenges. Now, what are the challenges? In fact, what I'm writing is highest number of challenges, right? Simplest thing we consider, but highest number of challenges. How you can see same person. So you are in what mood, right? Your face depicts. Today you are sad. Today you are happy, right? So how to capture this all? So here you can see the different expressions are there. Pose may be different. Expression may be different. Illumination may be different, like light. Then you go for biometric system design. Then whether it is for indoor or outdoors, obviously, if you are developing it in the outdoor, more strict requirement will be there. In the indoor, you can control all the light, all those things. So you can see that aging is also one of the things. Is why we say that, okay, many times this Facebook type, I mean, they launch a challenge. Basically, what we feel, it is not a challenge, but maybe data gathering technique, because they want to make their systems learn about how the people are growing over the. Then fingerprints, so you get your answer of your question slowly. So this is here you can see, this is a pattern of ridges and furrows on the surface of the fingerprint, right? So here you can see that all these points are being marked. How it comes? These finer details, how we say that these are unique, right? How we expect that the fingerprints of even twins, they are also unique. How they are unique? Because these details of the fingerprints, they are determined by changing this microenvironment around the footage during this differentiation process. And here, these are going to guide the fingerprint formation process, so that the overall pattern shape. So we must have seen in our hand, right, these patterns. So these patterns are governed during our formation in the womb. So that is how they are supposed to be different, right? And as I told you, 100% though, your own is not going to match, right? So here you can see, this is a local feature mapping. So if you look at the pattern recognition before this AI, right, we were the much focus of the machine learning research was on the feature extraction, matching algorithms. So the literature is full of different feature algorithms, right? People have given algorithms that they said, okay, with this feature, the performance is better. So some famous features are shift, surf, like that. So here you can see that these are the points. These are the important points. And with these points, you can see that the matching is going to be performed. And depend upon that, if you can search later on this, the shift features, they are supposed to be wonderful. At a time, just read it, no matter the AI has done wonders that way. But just see the beauty of that. So even if the angle is changed, size is changed, that feature is able to capture. So for that, they did something like with different scales they are considering of the object, with different angles they are considering features, and then they are going to perform the match, right? So that is how it is going to do. So what are the challenges here? Challenges are what? Here you can see that minutiae matching is there, right? So getting only all true minutiae points, that is a problem, right? It is not like every time, let us say 100 minutiae are identified at the enrollment time, all those 100, right? They are supposed to be find out at the runtime. Uh, so getting desired, then it comes because we are saying matching 80% are sufficient, right? Let us say our threshold is 80%. So we want to know, we want to get this desired number of, like if you say 80% and 100 minutiae points are there, we want those 80 from the that set, right? Those points we should get. And then here the fingerprint quality, like what type of your sensor is there, how you are working with that. So that is again. Now here, if you talk about the iris scan, this is the highest accurate biometric, right? How it is higher, this thing? No, so iris basically the colored part in your like this eye. And here this what we do. So when we talk about features, then we are having three sort of features, right? Machine learning: color, texture, and shape. So based on the color, texture, and shape, sometimes the combination of it, the features are being captured and used for matching. So texture is a very powerful feature. So here you can see the texture means the pattern. So it is not having any definition. If you look at the type, this is having some pattern into it. That is the texture, right? So that texture is going to be matched, and it is going to measure approximately 300 unique features. So many features are there. And that is why it is giving you, I mean, more accuracy. And also the important point with iris is that it is very stable over the life. So see, all those 6 properties we are talking about, characteristics, those have to be followed. And it works through glasses as well as contacts, right? Contact. Now, so what are the challenges here? Challenges are segmentation of iris, then occlusion due to eyelid, then data. Sometimes it is annoying. Although nowadays it was considered to be very annoying, but nowadays, because it depends upon the sensor, nowadays the devices are coming that, I mean, the user comfort is there. Although it is more secure, but if the user is not happy, user is not feeling comfort, then its acceptability will be low. So, but okay, of course, it is affected by some eye disease. That is a, you can see that everywhere. So we need to take care of how to move. Now, okay. So, and another thing, still now we are, so I have covered a few biometric. I mean, every biometric to be considered is not possible. But one interesting thing, not only humans, animal biometric, lot of work is there. You may search over there. So animal biometric, lot of work is there. So for so many purposes, for unique identification, health monitoring, improved livestock management, safe food safety, like so much research is there. So basically you can see here. So we do this muzzle analysis. You can see these, right? These patterns over, right? So these patterns are supposed to be matched. So here you can see that this is for pig, I believe. This is hyena. You can see not much work is going on in this direction also. So, I mean, many of you may think about this as a research problem. Now, what is the best biometric? Right? Because I have told you so. Which biometric do you feel should be the best? Best will be combination of all. Iris, yeah, okay. But what is the problem with iris? Accuracy is there, but user is not happy. So user comfort is not there. So remember that there is no single trade which is giving you 100% accuracy. You can see here all these characteristics which I have given, and these are your biometric. Popular is being used: face, finger, hand, keystroke, all. So H is for high, M is medium, L is low. So there is no row here where all H are there. We want one trade with which all H should be there, but there is not a single trade where all H are. You can see, right? The face is there, but you can see uniqueness. Who is saying everyone is same? Some might be very matching also. So uniqueness, then here you can see performance, sometimes it may be low also. So although, as I told you, no single trait is giving you, and here your choice depends upon the application. As I told you, you need to see over the requirement, right? What application you are going to use, right? How much security is important for you. So based on that, you need to design your own system, uh, your organization. So you need to find out the best match between a specific biometric and the application, which is there. So remember always that there is no optimal biometric. No matter n number of are there, but no. So here you can see, this is just one data I got from the site, market analysis, that what kind of technologies are popular. So if you say about banking and financial institutions, they are relying more on fingerprint, right? After fingerprint, it is on voice, right? Then iris, and so, and if you talk about this others, so like fingerprint is having quite good presence over there because it is the algorithms are cheap also, like any organization see for attendance purpose it is being used. So that is, but always remember that when you go for, because when you will choose a biometric for your organization, for your this thing, then there are so many things you need to consider. Which sensor you are going to choose, which device, how much power, what is response time, because it should be fast. You wait even for a few seconds, right? Up to whether 30 seconds, to wo bhi bahut lagti hai, right? If you are asked to wait over there. So we want quick response. Now, it is very much clear to, I think, all of you that there is not a single trait which is giving you 100%. And there is so that is why we want to combine some of the traits so that we can get better accuracy. So as I told you, no matter how many times you are giving your own template, it is not matching 100%, right? So we need to combine the traits for better accuracy, and the multimodal biometric system, it is actually using multiple modalities, right? So for example, here we can integrate two or more types of biometric systems so that we may meet our performance requirement, whatever is requirement is there. For example, you can combine fingerprint with face or fingerprint with voice or any other sort of biometric, right? You can combine the two. And so this enhanced structure, what it is going to do, it is going to help you so that if one biometric, some shortcoming is there, you can remove that by using the other biometric, right? So that is what you have already. Now here, how we can do this fusion? So there are various things. First thing is that you can, so first thing is you are choosing multiple samples of the single biometric trait. Another thing is that you are using multiple algorithms for single biometric trait, okay, because different algorithms, different features they are extracting, okay. Let us, we want to make them more secure, more accurate, or you can go for fusion of multiple biometrics. So that is what is your, and when you are going to perform the fusion, what type of fusion should be there, right? We can perform fusion at the feature extraction level. What does it mean? That, as I told you, these features are what? A vector, right? So some numbers are there. These are denoting like the important features over there. And so they are storing, you are storing it into a vector. So one thing is that just let us say all features from one trait followed by all features from the second trait, third trait, just one, right? And then you are doing the matching. We will talk about more in the next lecture. So then you are going to perform the matching. So first thing is fusion at the feature. Another thing is that fusion at the matching score level, right? So you are doing a different way, okay? Generate the match scores and then perform the match. And finally, decision level. Decision level means that, okay, let us say I am choosing two biometric. So decision level, okay, let us say I'm saying that if both are matched, if both of these matches are saying it is a match, then only go for it. If one fails, don't go for it. In another policy, it says that out of two, anyone says yes, go for it. Right? So you can get policies there. So you can perform fusion at these three different levels, and that is what is being shown in that picture also. You can perform the fusion at the feature extraction level, you can perform the fusion at the matching module, you can perform the fusion at the decision. Now, so what are the basic design specifications? So first of all, first thing is accuracy. Right. So what we want? So we our question is that we want to always make the decision for the genuine subject, right? So what does it mean? So we need to find out. So the two things are important. The system should correctly reject the intruder and system should correctly recognize the genuine. Hmm? So that is how these performance evaluation metrics are there, which we will talk tomorrow. False accept rate, false reject rate. So based on that, the performance is measured. Then we have here computational speed. How fast you are choosing multiple modalities, let us say. So it should not, but you can't compromise on the performance, right? Time. So how fast your system is making the decision. And then another thing is that whether your system is scalable. So you have designed, because there is a matching. Example, you got, okay, if it is a one-to-one match, no problem. If I'm going there and I'm saying I'm Preeti, so my two templates are matched, no problem. But when, let us say if I want to match, who is this? So in my database, if there are 100 users, I need to perform 100 matches. If in the database 200 users are stored, I need to perform 200 matches. If there are 1 million, I need to perform 1 million matches, right? So one to many. So we need to see whether my system is, is scalable or not. Means whatever hardware capability I'm having, so whether the matching is that on the faster node or. Then next is exception handling, right? That is what if I showed you in the block diagram also system architecture. This is every biometric system, right? It's having a manual matching process. Why? Because your subject may have bad day. The device, he's failure to use the device, failure to enroll, failure to acquire, right? There might be many problems. So always remember that exception handling. And finally, the system. So one-time installation followed by the recurring cost. So here maintenance is also there and training is also there. So you would like to train the your administrator who is taking care of the system over there, or the participant who are going to use that. Now, so what are the design issues to be addressed? Remember, first of all, accuracy and reliability. Accuracy, we want our false accept rate should be 0, right? False reject rate, that also we want to be 0, right? You see, every genuine user should be given access and every intruder should be thrown away, right? That is what. So accuracy and reliability issues are there. Then sensor and hardware limitation. How good is your sensor? How good is your hardware when we are talking about scalability? So whether you are having supporting hardware for that or not. That is one thing. Then variability in the biometric data, because different, as I told you that this when we are giving our template, right, it is never same. So this variability we need to take care of, not only the inter-user but intra-user variability. So our system must be able to deal not only the difference between your and mine biometrics, but the difference among my own biometrics, right? So inter as well as intra-user variability. Then scalability and performance, I talked about. User acceptability, we talked about that user must be comfortable with this. And then we have very important privacy and security concern, because there are so many types. We will talk about these attacks again day after tomorrow in detail. So not many, like earlier also attacks were there. Now with AI, different sort of, like, again the attacks are there. So attacks were always there. So how to deal with it? Because the security of the biometrics very important, because once you lose your fingerprint, it is lost for all. And so what happens when people, template protection schemes are being used. So we want templates to be stored database to be secure. Now what happens that, let us say, you have stored templates over there, and no matter how good your security is there, somebody is able to bypass. So if he is able to bypass that, because see, it is a war, right? Some attacker is there, and you are trying to stop the attack. So this constant things will go on, and we will talk more about it. So this is there that, but once your database is hacked, so what will you do? Because password database, you know that the news comes many times, it is being hacked, and we used to change, right? But biometric, how to change? So for that, some various schemes are there. One of the scheme is we say, okay, we have to protect our template. So one of the template protection technique is cancelable biometric. So we are talking about this. One of my students, Dr. Harkirat Kaur, she is presently at IIT Jammu. So we did work for cancelable biometric. Now, what is cancelable biometric? Is that we are not actually storing the actual biometric in the database. Okay, so if there is any attack, you can take my biometric. I will again regenerate it. Now the question comes, how can you regenerate your biometric? So basically here we say that cancelable templates. Now what do we mean by cancelable templates? Basically we are going to transform templates. Original templates are never stored in the database. We are using some sort of non-invertible transformation or a transformation which is very hard to invert, right? And then we are using your data, we are giving a user specific data, and by using that token or key or user specific data as well as this non-invertible transformation, your biometric is transformed, right? And so all the matching is performed in the transform domain. Matching we are not performing in the actual domain. So when you are enrolling, then your transform templates are being stored, right? And when you will come for authentication, you will give your biometric as well as you will give your key, which is being provided to you. So by using your biometric, your key, as well as this algorithm, non-invertible or highly, difficult to invert algorithm, again the cancelable template is generated. So matching is performed between the cancelable template, not the original domain. So that is the one of the scheme is work. So in this case, you can say that my templates are cancelable. Means I can regenerate my templates like a password. For example, if that transform database is being leaked, then I can again change my transformation. I can change my key, and again a new template is generated in the transform. Right? Then we have interoperability and standardization issues, because I said that there is no standard template form. Then environmental constraint, whether inside, outside. So outside, so many constraints are there. Inside, less constraints were there. And finally, cost. So these are the various design issues to be addressed. Now let us quickly take some of the challenges here. So why designing of a biometric system is complex? Because we want to do, like we want the best accuracy, 100%. We want the system to be scalable. We want the system should be very easy to use. So we want the best in all directions. That is how it is to be, right? That is how designing a system that is going to operate on the extremes of all these three factors is difficult. Then you can see that again I will discuss tomorrow, day after tomorrow in more details. You can see that sensor, feature extractor, nature, application, at every point, right, tag is possible. Right, you can see here, fake biometric, replay data, synthetic feature vector, right, synthesized, fake, right. So you can see everywhere, like there is a possibility of attack. Discussing. Now, what are the implication of the wide spread use? Now we are giving our biometrics online. It is being stored somewhere else. So what is happening here? Transmission and storage, they may not be always. So that is how the Aadhaar also, you must have heard so much hue and cry because of all these reasons. Now comes biometric security, right? So that is what we are talking about. What happens? Let us say this thing is okay. So my template is stored at multiple places. Now some cross-linking may be done, and through which attacker can identify this template belongs to this person. And so those attacks may be there, identity and forgery of the template database is always there. So that is how you can say that risk leaking biometric is a disaster. Okay, so many solutions. Cancelable biometric is just one solution provided. So you always remember that biometric is a double-edged, right? So it can be useful, it can create disaster. So we have to be careful. In fact, this is true for most of the technologies, right? We have to use them with responsibility. So now next is deepfake media. So we all are aware of that now. Image, video, audio files, they may be digitally altered or generated from scratch using AI. So here you can see that these are the people. I mean, you find anything odd here? These are like common faces. Okay, but these people do not exist. These are generated by StyleGAN. So this is a generative AI model, and these pictures, these people do not exist, right? So these images are being generated. Similarly, here, this is again a deep fake of Trump saying, okay, Trump. Now, so if we go for the deep fake media, always remember that most popular architecture for generation are GANs uh, and diffusion models, right? Now, so when there is a generation, there is a detection. So some of research is going on in the generation direction, and some of the research is going on detection direction, right? So one of my student worked on the generation, right? So we generated palm print, fingerprint, and all those. One of my student worked on detection. So I mean, as I was telling that these awards like thing will go on, right? So most popular architecture for detection are convolutional neural network, transformers, hybrid models, right? So you can see that here several artifacts, right? Several things are there. Based on that, the detection has to be performed. Manvi has to do that. Now, so now finally we come to the AI. So with uh, all current biometric application, they are having connection with artificial intelligence. How? Because they are using AI. Now AI for things, right? AI to boost their performance, and because they are using AI, they to the attacks targeting AI components, right? And then they are again using AI to mitigate those. We can see that attacks on AI or attacks using AI, at the same time mitigation of attack on others. So this is a very good paper. I will discuss it day after tomorrow, first session, that attacks landscape, right? So today we are using AI for performing attack. We are using AI for mitigating, right? So I think this is all for today. So, okay. So I would like to tell you that, as I told you earlier, Professor Fagini Gupta, he's one of the leading researchers in the biometric from IIT Kanpur. Now he's retired. And so he introduced this course first. I think research area was image processing, but he introduced this course first in Triple IT, and from then somehow the interest is generated, and we also started working. Some of the slides are taken from this course also. It's also a very old and famous book. Professor Anil, and he's a big name here. So, I mean, he's called the father of the biometric because he has started so much research. This is all from my side. Thank you so much. And now, so today, I believe that I have covered all the basic things, and so gradually, so now you're coming to your question, how they are unique. So basically, it is the studies are being performed, right? So like I will tomorrow I will take an example where will say that. Now you must have heard that Indian team, they are losing the toss for 20th time in a row or something. So it was there. What is the probability? Some millions one, I don't exactly remember, but it is a very huge, right? Out of these many, it is there. The same way, right? With the biometric also, if you say that these are from the different person, even if they are matching, or so that way things are there. And so people have proven it. So up to a large extent, they are going to be like fingerprint they work, and so that is being shown. I told you, so that is how they are being considered. Any other question? That I will take your class later on if you want. I will tell you in detail, because this course we will cover up this deep. Cancelable biometric, lot of my papers are there. Just take a bit. So if there is no question,